We're in the southern lakes, close to the coast, and today's objective is Arnside Knott. And as you can see, that is John and Graham, and with Jim Bloomer. So just going through a small gate, and I think as a Marilyn, Arnside Knott is renowned that its call is somewhere in a railway cutting. And here's the railway that goes on for quite some distance. Jim has spent a long time doing a good recce of the coal over the last
I'm undecided about whether it's there
last week. Let's just
shall we,
just 100 yards up here.
Shall we set the
listen to what they say for
well, if you do that
for a
quickly
moment.
before this guy arrives, because that's his point, he doesn't really feel free about you setting up a level here. So I think you should do that now.
Okay, right.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds...
It's not going to be the train.
But we're on,
So
we're on rail.
if we then look up here,
we're on rail.
You're probably right, yeah.
So that's
looking into the sunshine a little bit, but that's the continuation of the track, and seems to be a little bit of a cutting there. There's a little bit of rock on the left-hand side, but from where we've parked, you're actually coming down to the track, and the ground rises up. As we're looking here, the ground immediately on my right-hand side is probably heading eastward. That's going up, and the ground on the left is heading up again, and that's probably westward. Jim, is the ground here behind you, is that heading west, roughly?
It's southwest.
So that's southwest?
Yes.
Because you've done quite a detailed recce here, haven't you, over the last week?
Well, only with instrumentation that's, at its limit of accuracy. So
Yeah.
I think my judgment was that this is probably the place.
Yeah.
But, of course, that can't be with the certainty that hopefully we're going to prove or prove otherwise.
Yeah. But it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because, again, when you're looking up that railway track, purely by using one's eyes, that looks goddamn level, doesn't it?
Oh, with the apnea, it looks slightly down.
Oh, does it?
If my apnea's not had a nasty knock that's knocked it out of true.
Yeah.
But only slightly down.
How many options do you think, Jim, there are for the true coal? Is this?
Well, arguably it's an infinity of options because, is a point up there 2 centimetres higher than it is here. But with forgetting about that sort of detail, I really think there's only 2 because I'm fairly sure it's going down from about 100 metres up there.
Yeah.
From the side of the tracks if a train comes along.
So Jim's had a word with a signal man, and he contacted him during the week, and also as we've been coming here, he's just had a quick word with him. He's actually instructed him that we're planning on doing this.
You know when the next train is?
No.
I think it's probably correct to say that the signalman isn't overly enthusiastic, and I think he's of the opinion that we should do it pretty damn quick. But
that train's coming, murder.
whoosh, bang. Sorry?
I just heard a very distant, it'll be 2 minutes.
So who knows? Does anybody know the timetable for the trains or not?
Not by
Oh,
far.
just asked that.
No.
Got off one.
But again, Jim's been good, and he's contacted the proper authorities. And even though not overly enthusiastic, they do know that we're planning on doing this. And
Well, it might be actually. You might be better that side.
I don't think there was any
To this side over here.
Yeah.
anything expressed that we shouldn't. I think possibly the opinion was, well, if you're going to do it pretty quickly.
Down to shift it if you think you might.
If I go, shall I wander over
So
to the far side of the track over
what we're planning on doing now is just doing a little bit of staff and a little bit of levelling here. Here's John with the optics, and this is about 2 metres from the track. So we're going to set it up. Graham's going to wander down the track, I think, and we're probably going to take 1 or 2 measurements here and do it as quickly as possible before a train arrives. And if anybody hears a train, tell me quickly. So that's there's the view. And And Jim's ad-need this. Again, looking down that track, it looks very, very level from here. Am I in the way, John?
No. I'm focusing on you, so don't worry.
Yeah. But Jim has ad-need this point, and that track is actually going slightly downhill. What about behind me, Jim? Is it going downhill this way as well?
Well, I thought for 80 metres it looked as flat as before, but then it definitely did appear to be going down.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think it's probably between this crossing and the next one.
yeah. So this is probably the best option by Jim's recce and using an Abney level. That's this is possibly the call, and there's Graham. I'm going to take a little wander up here. Got a few more minutes to run until the 10-minute time is up. Graham's used another access point. He didn't wander up the track.
Come on. You need to get off. Quick. Come back.
I've just been told by Graham that there's a train coming. So I better get off the track. Let's go and see Jim. So we don't know the timetable, Jim,
No.
for trains. That's how.
Stand. Let get that. If he sees us messing around, he'll be stopping and talking to the signalman, and then we'll all be,
I think we should take the
1.060.
No, we should.
Just step off to one side, because he'll only see this survey kit, and then he'll be.
Should we take the kit with us as well, Jim, or not?
No, well, he's done it now. He can't move it, otherwise
Yeah.
he'll have to do it all again.
So here comes the train. So thanks for telling me that was coming up the track. It wouldn't have been
Sorry.
wouldn't have been a very pleasant experience if I was halfway down the track towards Graham. I don't know what I would have had to do. So and there it goes way off into the distance, heading northward.
Heading to Barrow in Furness.
Yeah, yeah.
Southwest.
So, John, obviously you took that one reading just before the train arrived.
Yeah.
And Graham's coming back here now.
Take another one here. One down there somewhere.
So, and that will just give us.
Try and whether we think the railway line's doing that here.
Yeah,
This is the high point.
yeah.
But could be an optical illusion. You don't know. It's curving round. It's different.
I'd feel happier if we got something from relative to that position, because obviously we can't see around the bend.
Yeah.
From that position, looking that way.
Yeah. We move this level
Because it
probably
was-
to that side.
It was very close
Yeah.
about whether it was going down there.
Yeah.
So this is the first bit to actually take a couple of readings using this as a midpoint, and
1.060.
Yeah.
Right, see what it is across here then.
that's one reading done. So we're going to take another one here. Let's just have a little.
0.915. That's higher.
So that's lower over
Yeah.
there.
Sorry, lower.
That's higher here. It's,
What? High reading or
It's the higher,
It's a lower reading.
higher elevation here
yeah.
Why is a lower reading?
because you're moving up the stuff.
So it's a lower reading here compared to the previous one, and that means higher ground here. So heading down below us to where Graham was originally there, that is going downhill. So for now I'm going to close off and do a bit of filming a bit later on. We're at one of the positions where the call for Arnside Knott may be, with the Leica 530 in position, and Jim Bloomer next to it. And Jim's done quite a bit of recceing, haven't you, Jim, over the last week or so?
Yeah, last week I was over looking at the various possibilities. We're actually looking at this hill because over there there's the Arnside Knott, which wasn't in the original Marilyn list. It was added in subsequently, and it's got, I think, a drop or prominence of 150 metres, not 151, just 150. So it was quite a contentious addition to the list. And now, of course, we've got the more accurate way of measuring heights. We're really here to just see if we can check this thing out in more detail. I came over last week and looked at the various options. This point here is really, we've already demonstrated, it's the highest point on the railway line. So the railway line to Lancaster goes down that way, and the railway line to Barrow-in-Furness goes down that way. So this is one option for the col, but there is actually somewhere else about 200 metres to the south that's another option. Now you could say, well, hang on, that doesn't sound right, because if this is the highest point on the railway line and the railway line goes down, but if you take a view that what was here before the railway line was built back in the 1860s, then it may be that the natural col could lie over there. So that's something else we're going to have to investigate. But really, we think we may be down to two options.
Good stuff, Jim. And I think we've been collecting data for just about an hour now.
All right,
I believe.
So we can switch off.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing we need to do here is do a little line survey, isn't it? It's not much. The ground where the sleepers are crossing the track. We just need to line survey from there to where the GPS is positioned, just to get the accurate height. And we obviously can't put the GPS on the railway track. So that's the first bit of data collected for the an option for the col for Arnside Knott, and I think the GPS will be dismantled and the tripod left in position. Do a tiny little bit of line surveying from the track to the for the position of the pole on the ground, and then pack the equipment up. And John Graham and Jim have already been out today. I waited with the equipment, and they've had another little look at the second option for the col, which I believe is natural ground. And then we're going to take the car around there and see whether we can get some more data from there as a comparison between the two. And then it may be a little bit too late in the day. It's 10 to 1 now. So maybe a little bit too late in the day to go up and do the summit as well. So but we'll see how we get on. We've got just over an hour's worth of data from this point. So do a little bit of filming later on. Well, we've left the railway, although there is another railway just over to our right here, the continuation of the one that we were by before. And we're now in a field. And if I come over to Graham, you got John and Jim just in the background, and hopefully Graham can give a quick explanation why we're here.
I'll try, Merlin. Yeah, they've just escaped. I think they were trying to avoid you again. I wouldn't stand for it if I were you.
So why are we here now?
Well, we did a recce while we were collecting data at the railway cutting col. And when we did a recce and we looked at the 9 metre spot height on the road by the bridge, which I can just point out is over there by the brown building, we recognised that the area just over the wall from us could be a natural col, or indeed it could be a real col, and that we needed to come here and take some measurements as well as where we were previously taking measurements. So that's what we're doing at the moment, and when we get the answer, we'll know which is right, I hope.
So obviously after we've got the required amount of data collection here, we're going to sneak into the adjacent field?
Yes, we are, as you've just hinted, Merlin. Where we're set up here is on a public footpath, so we feel reasonably safe. The point itself, which we think is the potential coal, is in a field with some really vicious looking sheep and a horse, and we know that Mrs. McIntyre just down the way is probably watching us, so we're going to sneak into the field with the level, and we're going to do some staff measurements back to here so that we can then work back and get the true height of that particular potential coal. And there you see John, I think, just hopping over the wall, taking a few bricks with him.
So, after we've taken those readings, now is it, if once processed, if that, if the point over in the field to the left, as you view this, proves higher, that means that it's the true coal.
If that point actually is higher, then that could represent the natural coal for Arnside Knott.
Yeah.
If that really proved to be the case, then I think we might be prudent to come back and give it a closer scrutiny after having asked permission from the landowner to make use of the field.
Yeah, because if this one did prove higher, as you said, we'd probably come back and we'd flag it, wouldn't we? We put lay down a grid.
Yeah, I think so. I think we would need to do that. We also need to get some view on Summit and Coles as well.
Yeah.
We need to get some input from Alan on that, which of course he's not had a chance to do yet.
Because the first position for the GPS was quite interesting, because it was taken next to the railway, but the actual position, and we staffed it, and Jim had recce'd it with his ADNI during the week. But that was quite interesting as well, because that was on the lay of the land was basically natural, wasn't it? Obviously, except for the railway, it was the height of the land would probably be natural there. But just 100 metres further, roughly southward, there was a small cutting, wasn't there?
There was indeed. I mean, that was about 2.5 metres
Yeah.
deep, that cutting. So before the railway line had been built, that would have been high ground leading to lower ground somewhere in the vicinity of the houses, just to the west side of the railway line.
Yeah.
And of course, that area itself would have been levelled to make the houses.
Yeah.
So difficult there to see exactly where there might have been any natural ground that would have formed the coal, certainly.
So where we placed the GPS that's as good a point as any, wasn't it, really?
Yes, it was, and certainly for the situation as it exists today with the railway cutting in place, and if you assume that is that the railway cutting should count as potentially being the coal, then that is the place you would choose.
Yeah. Well, cheers, Graham, for that explanation. I'm just going to back away a little bit and then do a 360 degree panorama just to show the viewers the lay of the land, really.
Yeah, okay, moving.
Cheers, Graham.
See what the GPS is doing.
Okay, thank you. So John's just coming back from the field. There's Jim, and is it Mrs. McIntyre, Jim? Macintosh. Aha. Now Mrs. Macintosh's small holding or farm is just coming into view there in the background, and just the other side of this hedge is the continuation of the railway line, and a train has passed since we've been here with Preston on it, so heading towards Preston. So this is where we are for the second option for the call of Arnside Knott.